Everyone says blogging is dead. Traffic's down, ad revenue's gone, and it feels impossible to make money online. But what if that's completely wrong? Right now, bloggers using AI automation are scaling faster than ever. Some making $75,000 per month without having to spend hours writing the post themselves. It does take a lot of time and experience to get there, but the secret isn't grinding harder. It's leveraging tools like N8n to let AI run the business for you. So this is the draft that my N8n workflow created for me. Even the images were created with AI. Everything was automatically formatted, making it nice and clean, easy to read. And if you notice, some of these faces are a little distorted. That's because I use DALL-E, which is free, and I did that because I was testing this workflow. But there are more advanced models you can use to make your images a lot better than this. And I really like this chart at the bottom. It summarizes everything, makes it really nice to read. And this whole blog post was generated in a matter of minutes. So we are in the N8n platform, and you're looking at the workflow that I use to create that blog post. If you go down to the description below, you're gonna see a resource section with all the links to all the tools that you'll need to build this workflow. I'm also gonna include all the prompts that I'm gonna be using for all these agents. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you will understand. Once you click the N8n link, you're gonna go ahead and land on this page. Just go ahead and hit get started and follow all the steps to create your own profile. You will get a 14-day free trial. You're then gonna be able to open your instance and send to your dashboard where you can create a workflow by clicking this orange button here on the top right. Then you're gonna see a page like this where you're gonna hit the plus sign and add a trigger. And the one we're gonna go with is Airtable. So type in Airtable, and we're gonna hit on new Airtable test event. This is where we're gonna have to connect our next tool. So the first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna go down to the description below and click that Airtable link and create an account. Once you've created an account, you go ahead and hit the create button on the bottom left and hit build your own app. If you're not familiar with Airtable, it's similar to Google Sheets, but like literally on steroids. They have AI built in. There's a lot of things you can do. And the first thing I like to always do is kind of just delete all this. If you guys know how to delete this faster, other than doing it manually one by one, please let me know in the comments because I haven't figured that out yet. So these are the columns that I've added: keyword, description, the image link, the blog link. Let me show you how I did that. So once you've deleted the default ones, for the keyword, I'm using long text. So we hit long text and then you just title it keyword. Okay, so that's how I got here. For description, it's gonna be single line text. Okay, so type in single line text and then name it description. The next one, we did URL. So type in URL will be the first thing they'll need to type, and then label it image link. Same thing for blog link. We're going with the URL and then title it blog link. I just want to put it out there that this video isn't about picking your niche, how to do keyword research. It is more for bloggers who already know the basics and want to automate their processes. So for testing purposes, I had ChatGPT create keyword research for the best exotic cars under $200,000. I also had it create a brief description about the article that I want to write. This is something you can create. This is something you can have your team create. You can also automate this process, but you want to have some control over the content that you're going to create. The next two columns will be auto-populated by our workflow. And it's important that we fill this out because this is basically our trigger. So anytime we update this document, it's going to trigger our N8n workflow to create our blog post. After this step, we're going to give N8n permission to access our Airtable. You're going to hover down to the bottom left to your account. You're going to hit Builder Hub. You're going to create a token. Go ahead and title it. Then we're going to add our scopes, which will need data records read, data records write, and schema bases read. And I like to add all resources. But if you don't want to do that, you can individually add the base that you want. So I titled it Blog Automation. So if I only want N8n access to that table, I'll go ahead and click that. But if you don't mind, just add them all. We're going to create our token, copy that. We're going to head back to our N8n, select access token, paste that here, hit save, and you should be good to go. Now, if we exit out of this, we should be connected to the account. Hold times just means how often it's going to check for a new event in the Airtable. So you can leave it as every minute. That's totally fine. But we're going to change the base to ID and table to by ID as well, because we're going to go back to Airtable and we're going to go back to our base here. So we're going to copy this set of letters and numbers that start with APP. Copy that. We're going to paste that in our base. And you can see they gave an example that also starts with APP. So you know which goes which. Next, we're going to look for something that starts with TBL. So that is right here, TBL. So let's copy that and then go ahead and paste it here. Trigger field. So basically, this is the column we want it to check every time there's something new there or not. And we're going to go with the keyword column. And if you forgot, it's going to be this column here. So anytime we put any type of text in here, it's going to trigger the workflow. So let's go ahead and test this out. All right, so everything seems to be working fine. So we have our keywords pulled in, description pulled in. So basically, if you're confused about all this, we're just transferring data from one application to another, from Airtable to N8n. And anytime you're building a workflow, it's good practice to pin your data so you don't have to repeat that data transfer over and over again. And it just saves the data. It's going to save you a lot of time, especially if you're working with a large language model. Which brings us to our next node, which is going to be an AI agent node. And we're basically going to use this agent to pull data, and this is going to be our first of many agents. By default, this is going to be connected to what's called a chat trigger node. You don't need to know what that means right now. Just know that we're going to have to change this to define below. Then in the prompt section, you're going to change this to an expression, and this is what we're going to add. Okay, we're going to type in create a blog post on this topic. All right, and we're going to drag in our keyword. I'm going to type a comma just to separate it, and then drag in our description. Next, we're going to add a system prompt. Again, we're going to hit expression. We're going to enlarge this, and I'll link this in the description below. In summary, this prompt is telling the agent to write 1,000 plus word blogs that mix research, real examples, and SEO with a polished but conversational style, hooking readers from the start and keeping them to the end. But we're not done with this node. The next thing we have to add is the brain. So you're gonna head down to chat model, hit the plus sign, and I like to go with OpenAI. So you're gonna have to create an account, and all you'll need is an API key. I'm gonna show you how to do that now. So go to openai.com. You're gonna hover over to the login button and then hit API platform. Create an account if you don't have one. Once you're logged in, we're gonna head over to the gear icon. If you don't have some money in it, you can add it here. I think the minimum is like $5, and $5 is gonna last you quite some time. Next, you're gonna go to API key. You're gonna create a new secret key, label it whatever, create a key, copy this, and we're gonna paste that here. Hit save and you should be good to go. And for the model, I like to go with 4.1 mini. It's cheap, it's fast, and it's plenty for what we need. Next, we need to add a tool to do some research, and we're gonna add Perplexity. And the reason why we're doing this and not just relying solely on OpenAI, because the knowledge is limited and it doesn't have the ability to browse the web. Perplexity, on the other hand, can pull live, real-time web data so your agent can cite current facts, stats, and breaking news. And when you marry these together, you won't have to worry about outdated info, missing real-time updates, lacking source citations, and producing content that may sound polished but be completely inaccurate. So once we have Perplexity added as a tool, we're gonna have to create a credential. And again, all you need is an API key. So let's head over to Perplexity. We're gonna open it, confirming our robot so we can build our robot. Then you're gonna hover to accounts, hit account again, API billing. Go ahead and add about $5 worth of credit. I think that's the minimum. And I've been using this a little bit and I've only used 5 cents. So don't worry too much about the cost. Then you're gonna hover to API keys, hit accept terms and generate a key. After you name it, demo, create key, then go ahead and copy that key, paste that here. Hit save, should be good to go. Next, for the model, we're gonna go with Sonar Pro. For the text, we're gonna hit expression. It's gonna be a simple one. Search these keywords. And we're gonna go ahead and drag these keywords over. There you go. Exit out of that. And this AI agent is pretty much done. Before we move on to the next step, let's go ahead and test this node, make sure everything's working correctly. When it's done, you want to go ahead and pin this data. And if you look, we do have a full article, but this isn't the final product. We need to rewrite this to make it more engaging. So we're going to add another AI node. Go ahead and type OpenAI, and then we're going to go to message and model node. Connect your account. We're going to go ahead and choose 4.1 MIDI. For the user prompt, we're going to keep it simple with, here is the blog post, and then we're just going to drag this output from the previous node right over here. Make sure you have expression selected. Then we're going to add another prompt, but this one's going to be a system prompt. So for the role, make sure you change that to system. Again, we're going to select expression. I'm just going to paste over the prompt that I already created, which you guys can access in the description below. Just to summarize this prompt, I'm basically telling the AI to write like a witty friend who mixes jokes and pop culture with accurate insights, so we can make even the boring topics a little bit more fun for the readers. So this node is basically done. We're going to go ahead and exit and then execute the step. So now that this node is done, the blog is a little bit easier to read, a little bit more engaging, but it's not optimized yet. When you're creating a blog, there's things you have to worry about like SEO and picking the right keywords. So that's what the next AI node is going to do. Before we exit out of this, we're going to go ahead and pin this node. Then hit the plus sign, same thing as the previous, OpenAI, message and model node, and just some housekeeping. Let's name this so you guys know what we're doing. I'm going to title this one style, which is the previous one. So this is style. This one's going to be SEO and keyword agent. All right, and we're going to go with the 4.1 mini again. For our user prompt, hit expression. Here is the blog, and then drag the one variable over from our previous node, drop it in there. Then we're gonna add our system node. You guys see the pattern, right? It's kind of the same thing as the previous one. Hit expression. Let's enlarge it with this, paste your prompt. So this prompt is gonna make the agent the ultimate SEO strategist. It's gonna rewrite the text in any style you want, slipping in those keywords naturally, and then polishing it into a smooth, engaging copy that keeps the meaning intact while boosting search power. You wanna add one more thing. So we're gonna go ahead and add message. We're gonna change the role to an assistant, hit expression for prompt, enlarge this, and we're gonna give it some output rules. So I had ChatGPT create this. And it's better to have the output in JSON because it gives a clean, organized format that the workflow can easily understand. If we don't give strict instructions, the model might return the text in a paragraph, markdown, or with explanations, which is not what we want. So moving on, we're gonna exit out of this. You're gonna scroll down and make sure you hit output content in JSON. And then we're gonna execute the step. Now that our blog is pretty fine-tuned, we need to add some images. So we're gonna exit out of this. So before we do that, let's pin this first. So we'll go ahead and hit the plus sign. Go ahead, type OpenAI again. Same thing, message a model node, 4.1 mini. I'm gonna go a little bit faster now. Expression, here's the blog, drag over the blog post, add message, system prompt, expression, enlarge it. This one's a little simpler. Your goal is to analyze the blog post and identify all the major sections so that we can create ChatGPT prompts to generate images for each section. Please limit to 4 pictures. Again, we want to make sure output's in JSON. So this one's going to be assistant, expression, delete this. We're going to add this in. You guys can get it in the description below. Hold on, I messed up. Let's control Z this. This one was system. And we meant to add it here. There you go. And then all the way down, output as JSON. Let's go ahead and test this step. Now that it's done, you have 4 descriptions, but if you look here, we only have 1 item that's outputted. And if we're gonna feed this into an image generator, it's basically gonna combine everything. So we need to split these images out so we can have 4 different images that can be generated. And luckily that step is pretty simple. So we're gonna go ahead, pin this data, hit the plus sign, type in split out node, look over to your left under blog post images, press and hold, drag it over to field split out, execute the step, and we should have 4 different items. There you have it. So let's go back to Canvas. Before we do that, let's pin this again. Back to Canvas. We're gonna hit the plus sign, open AI again, and this time we're gonna generate an image. For testing purposes, we're gonna use DALL-E because it's free. But if you wanna use GPT-1 or anything like that, you just have to verify your account on your OpenAI account. So basically, if you go back to your OpenAI dashboard, hit the gear icon, and then under general, just go ahead and verify organization. I haven't done this yet either, but if you want to use the more powerful image models, you're going to have to do that. For this example, I'm going to stick with DALL-E. Now we're going to work on our prompt. Hit expression, enlarge it. I'm going to paste in my prompt. Then you're going to just drag over our prompts for the images. Right over here, drop that over. Let's exit out of this and execute and see what it does. I just want to remind you that this free image generator model isn't the best, but if you're just testing things out, especially if you run it over and over again, you don't want to burn through your credits. This is totally fine. Now that it's done, let's take a look at what it's done. All right, number 1. All right, not bad, pretty cool. Got a nice exotic car in the middle, a model here, some rims, some tools. All right, let's see. Number 2. Okay, got a Lambo, maybe a McLaren, maybe an Ashton. I'm not sure. It's not the best, but it's pretty cool. And you can always improve this with the prompts that we created earlier. Number 3. All right, cool. I don't know why they put people from the Middle East. But it's cool. I guess there's a lot of supercars there. All right, number 4. All right, cool. Get off my car, girl. Now we want to upload our images into our WordPress, but you can do a Google Doc too, which you can do by hitting the plus sign, type in Google, and then Google Doc, and you can upload it that way. Unfortunately, there's no native node that you can do this with WordPress, so we're going to have to go through an HTTP request. Type in HTTP request, and I basically used ChatGPT on how to kind of fill this out. But if you guys don't want to do that, you guys can just follow along, do exactly what I do. So the first thing you want to do, change the method to a post request, and then this is the link that we're going to want to use. Copy that, paste it here, and then we're going to have to just change this to our website domain name, which mine is Kevin. Paste that there. Then we're gonna have to send some headers, authorization. We'll come back to this later. To add an image, where are you over there? Add featured image. We're gonna have to add content disposition. Copy that, paste that here. For value, we'll need attachment, tag. Paste that there. What else do we need? So binary property, and then data. Go to add parameter. Actually, we're gonna send a body, and it's gonna be binary, and then data. Now the value of the authorization. So we're gonna have to go back to our WordPress dashboard. Then you have to go all the way to users, profile, then go all the way down to add application password. Hello, whatever, demo, copy the password, copy the username, then go to OpenAI, and this is what I asked it. So username, moremoneykevinofficial@gmail.com. Password is this. This is a WordPress username and password. You can change this to a base 64 string for user authentication, and then because I want to upload images. So base64 is a binary to text encoding scheme that enables binary data such as images or files to be then transmitted or stored within a system that only supports text. So the one we want is gonna look like this. Right after authorization, copy basic, and then your code, head back to N8n and go ahead and paste that there. Once you execute the step, it should work fine or not. One thing I forgot to add, we're gonna do /media. One more time. Oh, hold on. There's 2 dots here. All right, one more time. All right, there you go. Sorry about that. Now you guys can see 4 different items. But if we leave this way, it's gonna post 4 different blog posts. So we need to aggregate. So pin this data. We're gonna head back to Canvas, hit the plus sign, type in aggregate, and then we're gonna go all item data. Execute the step. We should be left with 1 item. All right, I'm gonna go back and kind of review. We have a style SEO agent, and then let's name this guy to image prompt agent. We have image prompt agent. I'm gonna name this guy to image generator agent. All right, exit out of this, and then let's see. So next we need the final draft agent. OpenAI, message model node, final draft agent. 4.1 mini. For the user prompt, we're gonna hit expression. Let's enlarge this. We're gonna go with title, which we'll get from, collapse this. Let's get it from SEO and keywords, where we should have it. Okay, title, drag that over here. So basically on the left is just all the previous nodes. Then we're gonna go blog post colon, which we'll also get from the SEO and keyword agent. Image caption, which image is separated by commas. Let's collapse this, and then let's go to, there you go. And then we're gonna have to find the images. I think I found it in the aggregate node. So open up the aggregate node and go down to these images here. It could be guide, rendered. Here's what I'm gonna do. Copy this because I don't want to find them all, but I know what they look like. So we're gonna change this to 1. Paste again. We're gonna change this to 2. We're gonna change this to 3. Just gonna be a little bit easier versus having to find it one by one. But you can't do that. You just gotta look for it. Another thing we want to change is item to first. Enter. Also here, item to first, enter. I did forget to add the blog posts, so go ahead and collapse aggregate. And we're gonna go back to the SEO and keyword agent, and we're gonna select blog post, hover it over here. You can see that it works, but if you want to continue to run this over and over, you're gonna have to change to first as well. Now the user prompt is done, we're gonna work on our system prompt. So hit the plus sign, change this to system expression. Let's enlarge this. Go ahead and paste this code. So this is basically telling my agent to be a blog design professional, turning plain text into stunning, elemental ready HTML with clean structure, styled sections, image placeholders, and valid code basically. Next, we're gonna upload this to our blog. But before we do that, let's go ahead and execute this step, see what it does, and make sure everything's correct. Now to post it on WordPress, type in WordPress, go down to create a post, and then to create credential, you're gonna need your username. So go over to your profile, copy your username, paste that here, go down, create a password, copy that, paste that here, and then your WordPress URL, which you can get here as well, copy, paste that there, hit save, should be good to go. And now it's just basically drag and drop. So for the title, we're gonna go back to the SEO agent and find title, go ahead, drag that over. Again, change this first. We're gonna add another field, author name and ID, and just go ahead and select your account. Add another field, we'll go with the content, and we'll go with this final draft. Go ahead and drag that over, add another field, slug, which is basically whatever comes after your domain. So we're gonna add a slug, which is the page's name that goes right after your URL, which is also gonna be found in SEO and keyword section. Drag over slug, add another field. We're gonna hit status. We'll leave it as a draft, and then format, we'll leave it as standard. Again, we're gonna change item here to first, enter, and then let's go ahead and execute. It's done. Let's check out the blog post. We're gonna go over to our WordPress. We're gonna go over to all posts. I think this is the one it just created. Let's take a look. Alrighty, there's our girl. Look at the face. Again, you know, if you want to use a better image model, can. Okay, cool. It's all there, all the photos. All right, so let's head back to our N8n, and we're going to kind of finish up our Airtable. So hit Airtable, create or update a record, connect to that same account that you're on earlier. Then we're gonna find our base, which is the blog post automation. We're gonna go to table 1, and then we're not gonna match by ID, but we're gonna match by the keyword because that's gonna be the same every time. And let's go ahead and collapse these and go back to the Airtable, and then we're gonna drag in over our keyword to match. We're gonna change this to first. ID we won't need. Description we're not updating. Image link we are updating. So let's go ahead and create a post node, and we're gonna go and find our link, which is here. Wrong one, I'm sorry. So we're gonna drag that over to blog link, and for the image link, we're gonna have to go back to the aggregate and find that same rendered and drag that over again first. Okay, let's execute this step. All right, here it is, image link, and then your blog link, and it's all there. If you want to fine tune this even more for your specific needs, go ahead and go back to the prompts and kind of adjust them to your standards and your strategy. Otherwise, check out this video on how you can build an AI agent to automate your email. Well, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out my channel to learn more about AI and how you can automate your business or your life. Catch you in the next one.